This is She Creates Business, a podcast for wedding pros. Your host, Kenzie Roberts, interviews incredible women in the wedding industry who are making their mark and creating success on their terms. Join the conversation.
Well, hey there and happy Tuesday. Welcome to She Creates Business, a podcast for wedding pros. I'm your host, Kenzie Roberts, and you're listening to episode 5. My guest today is Keneshia Raymond from Blissful to Be. I'm really excited for you to hear Keneshia. She has a lot of experience in the industry and some really amazing insights to offer today about a variety of topics, actually. As I mentioned, Keneshia's from Blissful to Be, which is an online blog and magazine for California brides, giving them wedding inspiration and tips and tricks to have a fabulous wedding. She's also most recently the founder of Blissful Creatives, which is an online educational site for wedding creatives. And out of that is the A.C.E Creative Conference, which is happening this year, October 11th and 12th, 2016 in Raleigh, North Carolina. We're going to get into a couple of these things, how to have a great conference, how she started her online magazine, what that kind of means for her, and really what she's doing now. Keneshia is a wealth of information. I know you're really going to enjoy this interview, so let's go to the show. Hey guys, welcome to the She Creates Business podcast. This is your host, Kenzie Roberts, and I'm here today with the awesome Keneshia Raymond. She's the founder of Blissful to Be and one of the founders of the A.C.E Creative Conference, which is mainly what we're going to be talking about today, and I am thrilled that she is here. I have to kind of talk about her for just a second. We actually met because one of my other businesses, Olive Cold Jewelry, is going to be one of the sponsors for A.C.E Creative Conference. And Keneshia got on the phone with me, which first of all, I thought was awesome because typically people just email you only. And we honestly talked for like 20 minutes and I felt like she was an old friend. She was so funny and so understanding. And I asked her to be on this podcast and she said yes. So welcome, Keneshia. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me, Kenzie.
You're welcome. Well, as I mentioned at the top of the podcast, I've given everyone your professional bio, but would you tell us more about yourself and about your background?
Yes, I am from Southern California, but I now live in Northern California in the Bay Area, right outside of San Francisco. Mm-hmm. My background is in teaching and dance, and I had some dabble kind of in the wedding community when I worked for the city while I was going to college, but kind of dove into the wedding community about 6 years ago, and I'm in love with it. I can see myself doing something different maybe when I'm 50, 60, probably on a farm somewhere, but right now I'm loving the wedding community and seeing it grow.
We're going to have to talk offline about that dream about a farm, because I love that. I think I live on a ranch, so we'll have to chat about that.
Yes.
That's awesome. I love that dream. Well, tell us about Blissful to Be and really how you got started in the industry then.
So Blissful to Be is an online blog and wedding magazine, and I basically started it because I felt like there was a void in the blog area, but also in the magazine area, as in featuring real life couples and not what society tells us a magazine model has to be. So I really wanted to open that up so we were featuring more people that were of different sizes, of different shapes, of different colors and nationalities and things like that. And we were celebrating what the wedding industry really is. Because when you look at it as a whole, you have budgets anywhere from $5,000 to $10,000 to $20,000. But I wanted to make sure that I was showcasing the ones that weren't being seen. And these new vendors that were coming in that weren't getting the notoriety that they should have because they were new, but not really showcasing it where they were just, oh, it's new. It's because they're doing beautiful things and they're showing beautiful designs that we wanted to feature them. So really honing in on that void and kind of opening the space up to give people a chance.
Wow, so letting voices be heard that maybe not have been heard otherwise.
Yes.
Voices in businesses. That's awesome. Well, okay, so how has the website then evolved from when you first started? And when was that exactly?
I started Blissful to Be about 5 years ago.
Okay.
And I started out with it just being a national publication, featuring everybody from all over the place. And last year I rebranded and we went ahead and just focused on California. California is so big, sure. But really focusing on the vendors here in California and only featuring destinations once or twice a month. So that's how it's pretty much changed. And then the rebrand of the magazine and really focusing in on me being in the Bay. So really trying to bring in some of that as well as my Southern California roots.
Mm-hmm. And what do you feature on your site? Do you do feature styled shoots or real weddings or a combination?
We do a combination. We do styled shoots, we do real weddings, we do engagements, but really finding the voice in the different creatives. We also feature different vendors and kind of show what they do behind the scenes and stuff like that.
Oh, smart. I love that. Tell me about the Blissful to Be e-magazine that you publish. What has it been like to create that and put it out into the world?
So when I started Blissful to Be, I had no Photoshop or Illustrator or any kind of experience, and I bootstrapped it. So I had to figure out how to do it. That was really it, because it's not my skill.
Sure.
And so really educating myself, figuring out how to do it, and then reaching out because I was so new. Nobody knew who I was. Reaching out and having people believe in me and getting them to submit to the magazine. It's been a process.
Right.
It really has been a process, and then trying to figure out if I wanted to stay digital or go into print because I love the feel and the look of paper. So it's been a process, but it's probably the most rewarding process that I've been through. Really trying to feature these vendors and seeing the work that comes in and the hard work they put behind it. It really is very rewarding at the end. From
our phone conversation that I had mentioned earlier, I can tell that you just have a huge heart for people that are in the creative space and just what they're doing and making sure that people kind of have the education and the resources that they deserve or that they need, And so that kind of brings me into my next question, which is I wanted to talk about Blissful Creatives, which is I feel like it's kind of a mentoring, coaching practice, right?
Yes.
Okay, tell me about that.
Oh gosh, Blissful Creatives is really for me a from the heart project. When I first started out, I wanted to do all of the conferences and all of anything that educational that I could get my hands onto. I wanted to learn.
Oh my gosh, yes.
But starting out, you just don't have the money for it. And there's so many amazing conferences and experiences out there, but sometimes they're so expensive. And when you're starting out, you want to make sure that you're getting the education so you're not undercutting yourself. And at the same time, you're giving maybe notoriety to the people that have been here for a while. So I know a lot of new vendors that are coming in, they don't know what to charge and things like that. So when they come in and they're learning and they're charging what they believe they're worth or not charging enough, then us as the old vendors have been here saying, hey, you need to get this education, but at the same time, they can't afford to get this education. So Blissful Creatives was born more out of the side of really focusing and showcasing the vendors, but also educating the vendors, giving them everything they need to succeed. You're starting as an entrepreneur, but at the end, you need to see success. And the only way you can get that success is to educate yourself. So you have a ton of blogs that you can do that, but not all of them are wedding specific. And so that's where I really try to hone in on those creatives that are in the wedding industry that are just starting out, or the ones that have been here forever, but teaching them that, yes, education, you can get it, but at the same time, it can be affordable. And these people that are throwing these huge conferences, you can get there, but here are the steps to get there.
Absolutely. We need some stepping stones, and that is where the A.C.E Creative Conference comes in.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, you're still going to get everything you would get from the $2,000, $3,000 conference. You're going to get that all in this small bite-sized package, but it really is about that workshop and that one-on-one and giving people a chance to educate and to learn.
So tell us, who should come to A.C.E? Is it planners? Is it photographers? Is it anyone in the wedding industry? Who's going to benefit the most from A.C.E and the speakers and the content there?
Anyone in the wedding creative space. will really benefit from what's being put out there, because we have a photographer speaking. We have Gemma Touchstone who's coming to speak, and she's been not only in the wedding space but in the party space, and she's an author and she teaches DIY publishing, and so she's been kind of in the sector a long time, so she's going to give a ton of knowledge. And then you have Sugar Euphoria, her name is Randy, she's speaking. So she's in the baking space, and she's going to be speaking about how to design these beautiful dessert tables and kind of how she got in the business. And we have calligraphers, so it really rounds out to everyone from a venue to invitation stationery person, a photographer. Anyone will learn, because we're going to give you the business side of it as well as the hands-on creative side. So you'll have time to learn the business, the branding, to build your business and things like that, how to streamline and grow it. But at the same time, you'll have that creative fun side, and that's the outlet that we want you to have, so then you're taking it all in and you're enjoying the process.
That sounds wonderful. And I think that as a vendor myself, I value a conference like that, where you can learn from all lenses, such as, I'm not a calligrapher, I'm not a baker, but I do want to know what they know, because we're going to collaborate, we're going to be working together.
Yes, it helps to know what they know, and then to know how to work with them. Mm-hmm. That's that's like the little gem, to know how to work with them and how you would like for them to work with you. I think it's what kind of brings it all together.
Oh my gosh, excellent point. Well, you live in California, as we talked about, but this conference is in North Carolina. And so that's just one piece of the conference. So would you I feel like there could be someone listening right now who may want to start a local workshop. Maybe they would also like to do a conference. Can you kind of take us through the planning process for A.C.E Creative Conference and tell us, the really nitty gritty behind the scenes stuff?
Yes. So first, start out with a bottle of wine.
Yep.
And,
Done.
And then you're going to sit down and really think about your why. What is your why? And my why was to educate vendors within the space, to educate myself as well, because I feel like I'm going to learn as much as other people learn from the conference. Secondly, once you find your why, really figure out how you want to deliver that. So whether it's a conference, a workshop, or a webinar, how you're going to deliver that, and then slowly start building that. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Reach out to the people in the community wherever you're having it. I would always say start at home. I didn't start at home, but start at home and reach out to the people that are in your community and kind of build off of that. Don't think of it as a way to make money, because it's not going to make you money, but it is going to give you the education you need to help grow your business. But not only that, give other people a chance to help grow their business. So it kind of makes you stand out in the community, but it makes people want to come back and work with you and really learn from you. And then find a venue and partner, or rent out a venue and partner with them and really grow it that way. And then make sure you're hitting all of the vendors in your area, so you're showcasing what's there that's offered and not outside. So then you're highlighting the community as well as the vendors that you are bringing in.
Oh, I love that. Partnering with your local community. How did you find the speakers for your event?
When I initially started out, I thought of all the people I would love to speak. I want Martha Stewart. But no, Martha Stewart's not going to come to my conference. So I looked at the people that I really looked up to, and that I wanted to learn from and really see what they were offering. Mm-hmm. And then I reached out. And with reaching out, there were some no's. Because this is my first conference, so I can't afford to pay people to come out and speak. There were some no's, but then when it really rolled out to it, the yeses that I got were amazing. I think we have a really good group of speakers, and so reaching out and really talking to them about what they do and knowing what they have to offer. Sometimes you get a package deal. Like I got Gemma. She's a package for me. She comes with the DIY publishing. She'll tell me how to get published. She'll tell me my DIY PR. And then anything else I need to know about branding. She's kind of that all-in-one package that can speak on everything. So she was a gem. but really knowing who's in the space that you want. If you're throwing a stationary conference, you want to find the people that are kind of pillar in that area that can focus on that, but always reach outside because you want to learn from somebody outside of what you're doing. So instead of me reaching in the wedding industry, I plan to reach out for the next one, to reach outside, to bring someone in who's not in the wedding industry, because they can show us so much more and really open our eyes up to different things that are going on.
Oh, wow. I'm really glad you said that. That's so true. I feel Jenny Tai from Imani Events said this as well. She said we need to reach outside our industry because we can kind of pigeonhole ourselves if we're only listening to people within the wedding industry and not really opening up our educational opportunities to those things that really help us grow as business owners and leaders.
Yes. It's really about reaching out because if you look at it, we're all in this little bubble. Mm-hmm. The wedding industry it's a really big bubble, but it's a little bubble.
That's right.
So going out of the wedding industry and kind of going into, let's say, the politics side of things as we are right now, you learn so much from the outside that you can bring in. It still streamlines everything that's going on, as well as the backside of wedding design. A lot of us designers, we don't get our inspiration from Pinterest or, the last wedding we saw. We may get our inspiration by walking past a building and seeing something on the front. It's pulling that inspiration from outside to bring in that helps to grow. If we're always staying stagnant, we're never growing. And so it's bringing that outside in to continue the growth within the industry.
Absolutely. This is a little more tactical question. How are you putting together the schedule for the conference? So, you know what I mean? Yeah, funny, I know. How are we ever scheduling anything? But I mean, how are you running the day? Especially since you're really planning this virtually at the moment.
Yes.
But what are some tips you could offer someone to help them understand, even to start the process of really mapping out the actual conference?
Post-it notes. Post-it notes are your best friend. Mm-hmm. I have them in all different colors. But no, what I did was I wrote out all the things I would like to have. And then I brought in all my speakers. And once I figured out what they would cover having, I went ahead and mapped it out where it kind of flowed. So instead of starting with a style shoot, we're going to start with branding, because that's the first thing you need to know about your business, how to brand your business and how to be authentic in that branding and how you're not your logo, but you are the brand within your company. Mm-hmm. So going from branding to streamlining to then Gemma opening up as our keynote, talking about publishing and DIY PR and how to grow your business, and then going into the rest of the day, you want to make it a cohesive flow. You don't want to jump all over the place, and you kind of want to start from the beginning to the end. Your conference needs to tell a story, just like anything you're doing needs to tell a story. So with the conference, it's telling a story. It's telling you how to start your business, how to brand your business, how to grow your business, how to do the hands-on part of your business, and so on and so forth. So it's really about bringing all that together, so when you leave, you have a cohesive story. You're closing your book and you're taking your book home because you made this story.
Wow, that is a huge tip. Your conference needs to tell a story. That's so good.
Thank you.
Yes, I am pulling that out right now. That, I feel that could be applied to so many things as well. Your conference needs to tell a story, so does your business. So it doesn't make sense to start with a styled shoot, because in your business, I'll use myself as an example, and I'm sure you're the same. I didn't run out there and start hi, I'm Kinsey, let's do a styled shoot. We started with our brand, who we are. Wow, thank you for sharing that. That is huge. So, as far as, let's talk about sponsors then. I mentioned that, you reached out to me and we hopped on the phone. Have you found that, you were obviously a very warm and welcoming, authentic person. If someone is fearful or just nervous, they're nervous to reach out and ask for sponsorship, what kind of advice could you give to that person?
Since I am an introvert extrovert, I can sit behind a keyboard all day and email people. And I would rather do that sometimes, which I don't know how I got into this introvert, extrovert point, but I did. And I think it's because I do sit behind my computer most of the days.
Me too.
But you should just reach out. Really reach out. the sponsors that I reached out to, it's because I love what they're doing. And I really want to support the people within the sponsorships. Send an email. Send an email, jump on a phone call, jump on a Skype, get to know people, even if they can't sponsor, because a lot of people tell you, you know what, I am bootstrapping my business. It's a small business. I can't sponsor. But at the same time, they can support you in some other way. They may support, by promoting or support by coming out to be a part of it or coming and help. Just reach out, because even though you're nervous to reach out to them, they may be even more nervous when they get that email. Or it may make their day. You never know what you're doing until you do it. And then you see the results of what's going on behind it.
Thank you for saying that. I want to kind of shine a light on what you said there. You said you reached out to people that you already love what they're doing and you already want to support their business. So I think that that's an important thing to know, is instead of just reaching out to someone who, you think like, oh, let's get this big brand, because wouldn't that be great? Really reaching out to people that you actually love, because then when you approach them, your praise and your excitement for their brand is just super, it's already there. You might already have a piece or two of theirs or something like that. So you don't have to be like, oh, I love your mittens. I don't know. I just made that up. And you're like, I live in Texas. You know what I mean? Like, you're already super genuine. And I don't want to use, I hate to use the word like authentic and all of that. We all say that now, but it's true. You already are excited by what they're doing. So everything you say in your email is already true. You don't even have to try. You can already be yourself.
Yeah, and that connection, people make that connection through email. You're sending off an email, but it still has something behind it. It still has either a smile behind it, or it has that comfort behind it, or it has venom behind it. People always say whatever comes out of your mouth. It's not only out of your mouth now, it's through email, it's through social media. Like, you have to really think about what you're doing and put the heart behind it when you're doing it.
You're so right. And just don't be afraid. Just reach out, and like Keneshia said, you might get some no's, but guess what? You're gonna get yeses too. They're out there.
Yes, and even the no's, it hasn't been like just no. It's been no, but hit me up here. I can do it here, or it's always been something behind. It's not just no and nobody answers. It's they have something behind it. Just ask. Don't be afraid to ask, and don't be afraid to hear no.
Yep. And the only way you're going to get over that fear, because I am fearful. I'm fearful of people saying no to me or not liking me, but the only way you're going to get over that fear, or, me especially, or me too, I'm with you, whoever's listening, is just get out there and do it.
Yes, my analogy is always, I wasn't the cheerleader in high school. I wasn't the popular girl, so what is going to change now? That's what I always say.
Oh my God, I was a cheerleader in high school. I'm questioning my entire life.
Because I was the football loving girl, I was the hockey loving girl, like, nothing's gonna change now. You're gonna find me in a ballroom dress in some Chucks. Like, nothing's gonna change now, so.
Ooh, what color of Chucks? Tell me.
I have every color of Chucks. Pink and turquoise. Oh, I never wear anything but Chucks. That's a whole nother conversation. But yeah, if you ever see me, you're going to see me with my Chucks on. And everybody knows me by my Chucks.
Oh my gosh. I want a personality trait. Just kidding. I'll work on that after this. No. Well, tell me, what is it? We kind of talked about this. You want your conference to tell a story, but tell me if you could just kind of maybe say it in like 2 or 3 sentences. Like, what do you really hope your attendees leave with after the A.C.E Creative Conference? What do you hope like their enduring understanding is?
So A.C.E actually stands for Aspire, Create, Envision. So I want them to aspire to be great, to create beautiful things, and envision success. So bringing that all together, when they leave, I want them to leave knowing that they can go out and do anything within their business and grow beyond belief within their business. But I also want them to feel that and know that they have all the tools to make that happen. So that's the whole goal, is when they leave, they can walk away the next day and just continue to grow their business. But they're also feeling inspired, and they have that extra pump up of confidence to do it.
Wow, that couldn't be more perfect. Aspire, create, envision.
Yes.
That's great. Okay, I'm going to switch gears a little bit here because we just talked about planning a conference, which there is obviously a lot of steps involved. You're also running a website. So tell me, what are some tools that you use? This can be tech or otherwise to manage your business and your projects.
So I use HoneyBook for my back end. I do all of my invoices, all of like my kind of talking to my venues and things like that through HoneyBook because it can live there. And then I just signed up for Planoly. I think that's what it's called.
I think it is too. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it's amazing.
That's an Instagram scheduler, right?
Yes.
Oh, cool.
And I just signed up for that like Sunday, and it has changed my life. I get a little notification, and I push the button, and it posts it, and then it posts all the stuff, and it's living in the air. I'm so bad with Instagram posting. I actually hired a VA just to do all my social media, and all I have to do is post it. So those are the two things that I live by. I use Google, and I use Google for work for everything else. And then Asana. Asana is my project management for everything. Mm-hmm. I can just go in and pretty much play around with that. I've heard about Trello. I've tried it once. It's not my jam. Even though I'm a visual person, it's still not my jam. But I use Asana for everything. And then when I'm doing my day-to-day, like my events, I use All Seated for all of my table layouts and things like that. And then Aisle Planner to design.
Okay, so you use those for two separate things. So I just want to make it clear. So you use All Seated to lay out the function of the room, like where the tables are going to go and things of that nature, and then Aisle Planner for the aesthetic purposes.
Yes.
Oh, cool. Okay. Interesting. Oh, those are some great tools. And for everyone listening, just know that all of these tools that Keneshia mentions and everything we talk about and the resources and a link to the conference will all be in the show notes over at shecreatesbusinesspodcast.com. So don't feel like you have to take notes right now. Head over there and all of the links will be there for you. So tell me then, Keneshia, what are two things that you're loving right now?
I'm loving that we're going into fall and I'm going to be on vacation soon.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Can't wait till November. Right now, gosh, I'm loving that fall TV is coming back. I'm not even going to lie, because I am a Grey's Anatomy fan. So that's really where my focus is I know on the 22nd that I'm going to be back in my zone. But I'm loving seeing people grow and people come out of their box. You have a lot of just people that have been in the industry for maybe a minute, maybe 2 to 3 years, but they're really coming out of their creative box and kind of showing you who they are and making a name for themselves. So I'm loving seeing a lot of collaboration. Rising Tide really brings that in with the community over competition. So I'm loving to see people work together and kind of mesh and get to know each other and really reach out to help each other.
Wow. I could not agree more. What are you, so tell me then, okay, I'll also just really quickly, and then I'll move on to the last question. Fall TV, absolutely. I don't want you to feel like you're alone on that. And then as we wrap up here, kind of tell us what's, we have the A.C.E Creative Conference coming up, but what's on the horizon for Blissful Creatives and blissfultobe.com?
For Blissful Creatives, we do have the conference coming up in October.
Mm-hmm.
We will be releasing e-courses later this year.
Awesome.
And then we're planning for 2017 to offer 2 different conferences in 2 different locations. So one in SoCal and one somewhere else. And really growing the educational space, really making sure that we're touching as many people as we possibly can and making sure we're bringing in the best of the best to help out with that. And seeing where it's going to go. And then for Blissful to be, we're just going to continue growing and loving our SoCal people and really reaching out to destinations. I really want to focus on getting at least 1 destination to 2 destinations a month, because people go out to plan their weddings at these different destinations, but they don't see them. They see pictures of what it could be or what's on their website. So I really want to reach out and get some real weddings and some style shoots in there But we're just going to continue to grow and touch our creative vendors and help them grow as much as possible.
I love it. I can't think of a better way to wrap up. Keneshia Raymond, thank you so much for being on the She Creates Business podcast. It seriously has been my pleasure to talk to you.
Thank you. It's been great.
Thank you. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much for listening to She Creates Business. Please take a minute and head to iTunes to leave an honest review so we can help more wedding pros find the show.